from the studios of Wadapa Ditmon FM. Good afternoon and welcome to this week's edition of Pains, Love and Family. My name is Major Daniels, and here with me this afternoon is my co-anchor person.
Moninkola Gideon is my name. We know that for a while now, Fridays have not been very memorable. People always look forward to Fridays, but now there's no difference between Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So there's no thank God it's Friday thing again. But we like to make your Friday memorable, inspiring, and full of fun. So that's why Pains, Love, and Family. We have lots of topics that would interest you. So, like we said,
during this lockdown.
Sorry?
I said during this lockdown.
Yes, especially during this lockdown. And we started this topic last week, and today we have guests again in the studio. We have a fuller house today. Dimeji didn't start last year, but Afa Dimeji is in the studio. You need to see what it looks like to Juma. Away from what Dimeji looks like, Jumoke is with us. You know, Jumoke is becoming a regular on the show. Sukom is also becoming a regular on the show as well. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, Moni.
Sukom.
Good afternoon.
Okay, so we have our guests again in the studio, Debola, and is it, which one am I supposed to call for? Is it the husband?
The woman.
The woman.
Oh,
The woman.
okay, so it's Debola and Akin Bitoko. They are with us again this beautiful Friday afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So I guess when all is said and done, what we all want is happiness. We all just want to be happy in our homes, in our families, in our marriages. But more often than not, we don't know how to go about being happy. So that brings us to the topic of spousal abuse. And it's not just for those who say that it's all about women, you know. In this part of the world, they tend to demonize men. You know, they say when you mention spousal abuse, they say it's all about women. But men too are being abused, and it doesn't have to be physical. There is sexual violence, there is economic violence, there is emotional violence, there is psychological violence, all sort of violence in the home, in the family. And we're going to be touching on all of these things and the causes, how to deal with it, and how to get out of the woods, how to get help as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I remember that we ended last week by talking about the emotional violence that some men suffer, and I think it was one area we ended it with. But I would like us to focus on, before we move to our guests. Jumoke, you know you are not a guest on the show, but you are not even experiencing lockdown, so I don't even know why you are sitting on this thing. Yeah, right, because now you are not in that situation where you are locked in with your spouse by fire by force, you know. And no, but seriously, away from the jokes and all that comes with it this season, I think it's important to stress. Do you think that you could be in the shoes of someone you could feel locked in with somebody you don't want to be locked in with?
Of course, yes. It happens.
What are the signs?
Well,
wait, you know that we are not looking at physical signs like we all know me, Abosoro, those ones that the major were listed: psychological, emotional, the economical one. I don't know how that one works, but
I'll talk about it.
Okay, so
well, it's very, very possible. You know, my husband we belong to the same line, so both of us are not locked up.
Okay, locked up.
We are locked out.
We are locked out. So automatically we just come home. And this is just a normal routine, the way it used to be before the coronavirus pandemic. So it's possible you could be in the same house and be abused emotionally, especially.
Okay.
You know, there are times you might be having difficulty with your spouse, and you find it so difficult to express yourself because you're having this feeling that, how will I say it? How will he feel if I say what I want to say? So automatically you'll be killing yourself in there, and the other person, on the other hand, will be wondering, what have I done to this person? Ordinarily, this is how we relate in occasions like this, and now he's behaving like so. Those ones alone is a lockdown on its own. So it happens. It's killing.
Let me turn to our guest, and I'm going to ask the woman before I go to the man. How can you tell an abuser? How does an abuser know he's an abuser?
Usually they are very defensive.
Yeah.
He doesn't admit, or she doesn't admit that she's an abuser. He or she is wrong, and so they put up an appearance that everything is okay. You don't need help there. we're all doing well. So what's the problem? We don't have any problem here. 1, 2, and sometimes some of them also could be very, very offensive. Be on the offensive side, and you raise a point, it flares up. Told you that that's happening here. I can take care of my home. Nothing is happening here. So let's just take care of ourselves. These are just the 2 points I can raise about an abuser here.
Okay, let me talk to the man. If an abuser now, or let me put it more correctly, if an abuser wants to know that he's an abuser,
Even somebody external.
He himself.
Sure.
Yeah.
What does he look for? In his character. Yeah, he may not know that he's an abuser. He may not be beating his wife, the physical punches. How does he know that he's an abuser?
He will know that he's an abuser because eventually he himself will not understand peace in the home.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, while we were starting, you said we will be bringing you happiness, and something in my heart said, happiness, really? You don't bring people happiness. You give happiness out.
That is a bring happiness. I said all we have. I said all we all want in our home is to have happiness. I didn't say bring happiness.
An abuser is not happy.
Yeah.
Because he is not giving it. By the time he himself is not happy and he is capable of looking inward, he's possibly going to recognize that he's an abuser. But I'm just careful. I don't want to say he. I say he or she. Because actually in recent times, it's shocked for me to inform you that I discovered that there are more female abusers than we have of men. In fact, over the week, during the week, I have quite a number of cases. And some of the wives at home, when you hear men say, he poured amala to gono, yes. And you see, there is a danger in the society because the society has willed the abuser aspect to the man.
To the man, yeah.
So, when you come to the scene, the first thing you want to say is to point to the man. What have you done to her? And so, quite a number of men right now, they are silently dying. I'm sorry to use that word, but that is it. Because it's like the situation where the Yoruba man will say, "One fury agbo meji, one filong mumi." In the sense, that is, you know that these guys, these are fighters. And you box them into the same corner.
There's gonna be trouble.
Yeah. So you see, the abuse.
How can you tell a woman what will a woman do that will make you call her an abuser?
Yeah, women when they talk too much because the nature,
nagging. Or when they make the husband feel insecure or have low self-esteem.
When they nag, they are abusing the man. Let me inform you that they actually go to physical battery. And like when they do it, when outsiders come in, they quickly camouflage and begin to cry. Before you know it, you will think that the other guy is the one that is wrong. Until you get into the depth of the matters. When you see abuser, they will just neglect their normal responsibilities, and men like to be respected. When you are leading a woman in the home and you cannot see the respect, you flare up easily. It is in us to want to be respected. An abuser, especially the women folk, who disregard that responsibility to create a lot of injury internal, for which they are actually ready for whatever will be the response.
Okay, now
I wanted to ask Sukomi, have you ever felt abused?
Myself?
Yes. Because I want you to paint a right picture of being abused. You've never felt abused? Okay.
What would you get?
No.
Or you're not sure?
No.
Okay. And now I've heard that, people who grew up in houses where there was abuse, either as a woman or as a boy, they could either become abusers or victims of abuse. That people who use substance like alcohol, like drugs. Like drugs, they could be abusers. All of that. Now, apart from these two that I mentioned, what are the causes of abuse? How does it start?
Or should I add to the question?
You go ahead.
Is it possible? I know it happens for children who grow up in houses where parents abuse each other. It's very, very likely for. Is it possible to have children who grew up in that kind of home to escape abuse? Either you being abused or.
Yeah, she will get to that, but those are two different questions. Let her answer that one first.
Okay. Somebody that grew up in a home where you experience abuse, they usually have low self-esteem.
Yeah.
It's like you always don't see something good
In them.
in you. And it could also be that as a result of, it's still low self-esteem, as a result of probably my mom didn't do it this way, my dad didn't do it this way. In a bid to do it better, they tend to use people to achieve what they want. And by the time you use somebody to achieve, that person also is in pain. You are, in fact, it's a lot of emotional battery, emotional abuse. You keep talking down on the person. Like someone say, my father grew as was a boss man, and my mom was so and so. That doesn't mean I'm not good. When you are going out with a lady that doesn't have such background, and at the end of the day, your friend, let me not say your friend, I'm talking of singles, probably they're cutting now. Your friend doesn't see that. He's like, I want you to be better. This is the way things should be done. And every single thing your friend or your spouse says is wrong. It's because of your background. That is where you're coming from. You are not raised in the same way. And this person is trying to show you that this is the way to do it. But because female now is the one trying to tell the man the right thing, you feel that you want to ride on me. That's not the way to do it. And it's as a result of your.
Well, don't you think women do that too? Because I've seen women who do that. No, we don't do it like that. Where I'm coming from, or you're trying to make me look like a slave. Women do that. They say that a lot too. Where the man is just trying to correct them and not even to abuse them.
Now, if you want to say that women do that a lot, there are two people in a relationship, and we all come from different backgrounds. It's the way you communicate the fact that I wasn't brought up that way differs. Yeah. If you tell me, we should do it this way, probably from home we do it, but when that language becomes a regular thing, you say that the other party may feel threatened.
Become insulted.
But if you are not always saying it that way, or probably you've been saying it and he refuses to see the way you're saying it, then it becomes a threat to the other person. But if you are friends, I will keep using the same word, but abusers are not friends. They are not friendly. In fact, I have in mind, I said abusers, some of them enjoy doing it. Some of them feel good that that's the way it should be done. Some of them feel that as long as I can break your wings, I'm in charge. And I want to seriously say it as a result of slow self-esteem that occurs in that particular product of the family. Let me put
you want to feel in charge.
Yes.
I tell me that you don't have to tell your wife you are the husband if you are really the husband. Yeah, because if I have to tell you I'm your husband, then that means I've failed as the husband.
Let me know that.
Yeah, I don't have to remind you that I'm your husband. Yeah, you should know that I'm your husband.
Low self-esteem, low self-worth.
Don't struggle for recognition.
Probably when you feel the person that you are living with is likely to have something better than you. Then you begin to use your power in whatever way, especially the man, to make the woman feel that, hey, your girl, come here. You are not, even you bring in the cash or whatever, you are not the one in charge here.
Okay, what about substance abuse? Those who use drug, alcohol, and all of that.
It has become a habit, and except you break out of that habit.
I'm just asking if they have a tendency. They do.
Yes, they do.
To abuse their partner.
A drunkard will always come home, and we have stories, many online stories, that the man will be drunk, come home, and make sure that the wife, after vomiting and all that, will still insist the woman clean up. And if you are doing that for years, probably you would like to hear this. Our listeners should hear this. For a man doing that for years, and your wife does not respond negatively, you are blessed. That means that heart has been touched.
It's a good heart.
It's a good heart, and it's submitting to the higher power. And if that heart is not submitting to a higher power and gives you all the time, then both of you are in for trouble. You are not going to be able to raise godly children. And if you are not going to, you don't have the target or the aim of raising godly children, then you have it wrong. And your children also from that particular marriage or that particular whatever will come up as abusers too, except God touch their heart.
Okay, Moni asked a question. Is it possible for victims of abuse or abusers to get out of it?
I asked because sometimes people just want to defend the way they are.
Yeah.
Because that's what you saw your parents do. So can I come out of that kind of?
Oh, this is me. This is my things. Yeah.
Can I come out of that kind of home and be different?
Yes. Yes.
It's a choice. I think it's a choice.
There are two ways to it. The first way is that the family setup is such a wonderful thing, wherein people don't even know that they are already training their children because they are an indirect thing. It's not a schooling. From day one, the children begin to pick after their fathers. That means the father and the mother. If they grow from the abusing parents, the tendency is very, very high to endorse it. It's like, oh, daddy does this to mommy. Okay, maybe that's the way to go. And I actually have a friend who told me that one day, even though he has known the right way to live, good morals, and your wife is not to be battered emotionally or even battery and all that, and he was ready to live like that. He told me clearly that one day, it was just few seconds that separated him from really battering the wife. And he said, as he was moving closer to her because of what she did that hurt him, he started confirming affirming himself, okay, maybe this is what mommy used to do and my daddy will deal. Okay, I hereby step into the shoe of my father today now. And I'm going to deal. He said, something that has been within the subconscious that I will never raise my hand. That one just came from the subconscious and said, it's like a victory. Because ordinarily, according to him, he had, in his mind, he has beaten the woman. Another issue which is very important is that the abuser can actually be helped. There is always a process leading to it. We actually say this way that a hurting person will hurt another person.
Yes.
And the person he will hurt is the closest person
to him.
And that is why the marriage thing becomes the issue we always talk about. That they sleep together, they are in the same place, the relationship together. And so when he is hurting or she is hurting, and the hurting nature doesn't have to start because of what happened in the house. He could be hurting from the office.
Yes.
And you see, especially men will be hurting in the office. People in the office wouldn't know. They say, he's a good man. He knows the principle that work in the office, how to relate with the upline and the downline. He gets into maybe a religious organization where he belongs. He knows the principle there. But when he comes to the house, he looks at himself. I am the king here.
This is my territory.
This is my territory. Like every dog will defend his territory. Something in his head wired it in that, hey, I dictate here. And so he's still hurting. In the office, he will say sorry to the boss, even though he's hurting. But now he's home. And sometimes little thing with little spark, we just trigger it. Again, I'm in my house. What is it? And the woman will say, what have we said? Why is the response like this? And before you know it can be triggered. And when the person now becomes somebody like that has drug abuse, tendency to behave animalistic, very high, because he's actually not in control.
How can that kind of person get out of the woods?
Okay.
Out of what?
The woods to get out of the problem.
Stop being an abuser or just stopping on drug or whatever.
An abuser.
Okay, from me, like I said, you have to identify. If you don't know that you're doing this, then you don't know. But 1, 2, 3 times people have called you to order, then I think you should look inward and accept that you have a weakness. And that weakness could either be mouth battery, what is what you do,
or
anger issues and all that. And once you identify that this is it, you need to work on it. Psychologically, people will say you help yourself, but sometimes, many times, it's like making a resolution that you cannot help yourself. Permit me to say, you need God.
Yeah.
You need to bring yourself down to God for help, because it could lead to taking life.
Yeah, eventually. And so you need God. Identify that you are an abuser. Look at the things that triggered all these things. The ones that you can work on, like we were saying last week, then start to work on it. What gets me angry? How can I do it? In what way? Can you help me? Especially your spouse is the only person that can help you out of that situation. Or if you have a best friend. Now, you find out that you will still do the same thing. Then you need to submit yourself to God to help you. No man in himself is good. Okay, let me.
And you cannot change anybody. You can only work on yourself and ask God to help you.
Let me ask this question: Can the abusee? I want to use that one now. I know it's not easy. Can the abusee ever be responsible for the action of the abuser? Why I'm asking that is that I've seen men who were in relationship A, they abused the woman.
Yeah.
Relationship B, they abused the woman. Then relationship C, abused the woman. Relationship D, they abused the woman. That's why I'm asking that question.
Yes, okay. What he's saying is that is it possible that the abusee is the cause for the abuse in a relationship?
Yes, it is possible.
Very, very possible.
So in that kind of, what would you, that's why I cited that instance. A man takes this person, they abuse the person, takes another person, abuse the other person. Now, if the abusee is responsible for the action of the abuser, what advice will you give in that to both of them? In that,
is that you talking marriage now? You're talking.
I'm talking both relationship, marriage. Yeah.
I think I want to underscore the power of counseling here.
Okay.
The one that hates counseling is the abuser, because most times when he's at peace with himself or herself and he calms down, he sees the futility, he sees the stupidity. So when you want to take him to a counselor, most of the times he knows he will possibly be reprimanded and be shown what he ought to do. He says no. But in most cases, when they yield themselves to want to change and you take them to the counselor, they are hurt. For example, I have a friend who in the days when HIV was becoming a very serious matter, a counselee helped him out. And how did I know? I just discovered that he was no longer a womanizer. And I said, hey friend, I can't see all those your girls around again. How did you do it? He said, hey, my brother, you think you are the only one who wants to stay healthy? I said, what do you mean? He said, now, when I go in town and in my vehicle, in my mind, I had written HIV on every girl that was about to seduce her. In which case, somebody helped him to actually paint a correct picture. You see, and we are all
life is living.
That your life can be ending in disaster. And the same way, an abuser needs somebody to paint a correct picture that you are actually and you endanger your life.
On the path to destruction.
You are on the path to destruction. Because if anybody knows that he's going to die or he's going to kill himself, that he's actually doing something to hurt himself, there is a way by which he does. We are very self-centered. We want peace for ourselves. We don't want to die.
We want to live long.
We want to live long.
Okay, let's quickly ask you one question before I turn to you again. Let me ask you one question. In a relationship or in a marriage where, for instance, maybe they've been in past marriages or relationships and there was not the case, I mean, an issue of abuse, and then you're married to this other person, and the issue of abuse crops up, would you advise them to go their separate ways? If it's not working, if you could take the lives of both of them, would you advise them?
Let me give a scenario. This one is not even marriage now.
Okay.
I know Bible is saying.
Wait. I want to give.
When did you even become pastor?
Sorry. I want to give a very practical scenario. Before I got married to my husband, I know you're Christians, and I know you've been dealing with Christians too for a long time. You know, I was in a relationship with someone, of course, a Christian as well, but he wasn't abusing me, not physical abuse, so to say. But the abuse I got is a Christian, and we wanted to get married, but he talks 10, I talk 1.
Okay.
You get that kind of person, and we've tried to sit down to have conversation. This home, I know you are the head of the home, as Bible
Which has not even started.
which has not even started. But I want to come to a point where I feel that this is our home. We want to build it. So because I can't imagine that I would say you would change, and then I go into the marriage on the premise that it's going to change. And then it got to a point that he now had to start shutting me up. That anytime I want to say something, I should keep quiet.
No.
I should let him talk.
That's an abusive relationship.
I had to go to think that, is this how I want to continue to
Your life?
You know. Now in that situation, I know a lot of people would sentimentally say he's a Christian, he would change, and then you go into the marriage on the premise of it. So I'm asking that question. I'm incorporating it with the Mage's question, especially Christians, because and those who have not gotten married, and then you what's the word? Your priorities, you don't set them right. You use the premise that he's a Christian, and you neglect, or you will cope, or probably somebody who slaps you or slapped you once. And then you kept going and say, he's a Christian. It's going to change. When we get
It was a mistake.
Okay. Let me. I think my question is a bit different from us. I get us. My question was that if for instance, you're already married and it's not working for both of you. Especially in a situation where, the scenario I painted earlier, where the man knew that I was not an abuser before, and this. Maybe there is a trigger. For instance, somebody who does not like, there's a trigger for that abuse in the other person. Now, would you advise that both of them should go their separate ways rather than kill themselves, kill each other?
Let me be very frank with you here. God is not interested in the death of anyone because of relationship.
Yes.
So, what is the easy way out? If you discover that the biological existence of one or both of them is heavily threatened, counsel them to separate. Separation and
different from divorce,
is not the same.
Just stay away from each other for some.
Because some of them will get back to their correct senses and
become better.
It takes a man to change himself. No, you can't change any adult. So when they separate, possibilities are that the sense of loss comes in, and the sense of thinking that I am wrong, that I could have made something happen.
I could have done it better.
Such that by the time they negotiate their coming back,
it will be on agreeable terms.
On agreeable terms.
Because
if they now have somebody they respect, who could talk to them,
to both of them,
and to whom they can be accountable. My goodness, you discover that a whole lot of things will change.
Let me give you a scenario. A man who was always complaining, the wife does not work, and he does everything in the home, and the woman is not working. He's not working. My pastor told me this story because he had to settle, their rift, and the woman is unappreciative. Whatever the man does, and then there was a day that man could have beaten her, and the man said, "Okay, for a while, let me just let her go and stay with her mother." And the pastor said, he now called her and said, "Madam, if your husband asks you to go, do you have any place to go?" He said, "I have no place to go." Then why can't you become better? because the mother-in-law is even staying in a one-room apartment, so there is nowhere to go. And then she became better. Yeah.
Because she now knows that
There's really nowhere to go back to.
I would like to say something. When things like this happen, and probably want them to separate, especially in the married people's case, the question we ask them as counselors is that, do you want this relationship to work? Number two, do you still love
Each other. But is love enough?
Love can be
not
enough.
not
enough.
at all
Enough. Yeah.
Okay.
I like the emphasis.
Not enough somehow. So do you still do you want it to work? Are you ready to give it what it takes to work? You started on the platform of love, because love is a decision. And so for me to keep loving you and to keep coping with you is because I love you. I use the word cope. To continue with you is like I still see that there's something in you and that my heart is for you. And then if we can sit together, can two work together unless they agree? Yeah. We have to have an agreement and to see the way things work.
There are things we have to let go.
Yes, and then for this case that she painted, there is no point in saying that God has said, oh, this is the way it is going to be, and I'm going to manage, work it out, and see. He won't change, because you will
when
never
you can't get in your own opinion.
Yes, you will never have a voice in that marriage. You will never, at no time, even on raising the kids, you would
voiceless marriage.
Yes. But the funny thing is that in such cases where I believe in some times ago, some women have tried and have done that. At the end of the day, their children have to be the one that will deliver them, let me say, from that particular stress, that situation. And so that's why you see some people, you just keep going, I know God said I should be here, or I know this is where I'm supposed to be. And then she may not even say that her children are for the shame, let me say, of then a woman leaving her husband. But these days, it's like everybody has just thrown away the shamefacedness, is not to be heard, and so you have a plan B.
Yeah.
In fact, you go to your marriage guard, and I want us to know that when you are already having another plan, like a scripture says, the thing I feared most has suddenly come. It happens.
Yeah.
Even psychologically, we have seen that what you dread could happen is what eventually will happen to you. So why don't you have a positive mind?
That's going to get better.
And work at it. Not assume that it's going to get better.
The pace of prayer is very important. That's what it is.
You work at it.
Yeah.
The two of you sit and talk. This is the way we do things. Don't say your spouse doesn't have
sense
or that the IQ is cerebral.
Can't you see?
Yes.
Can't you see? You know, for women can insult you with respect. Now.
Like somebody say,
you are calling yourself a man.
I can't say it's like show it's not things.
No, first of all, ni sense.
No matter how much you have worked on yourself, on your temperament to be a good
it gets you angry.
And somebody still keeps talking and talking. Like I said, everywhere, anger is an issue that you can deal with. Look for ways to deal with it.
Okay, quickly, we'll come back to you.
Something
because of our time, I'll come back to you.
That happened to your married, and you just raised a burden in my heart.
Okay.
You were able to run away. You didn't marry that guy because you could foresee. Quite a number of young people are in abusive relationship. Not even.
They say she's going to change. He's going to change.
I can't see.
People.
Well, that is the definition of foolishness.
I hope you
because of our time. Jumoke, how can you tell?
Yes,
because of our time, how can you tell if you're abused? You're a woman.
I asked her if she has felt abused.
No, I know. But how can you tell as a woman? How can you tell as a person? How can you tell that you're abused?
He's not giving you a voice on opinions.
Okay.
He's now treating you like a second-class citizen.
Oh, your own country. You are feeling like a Ghanaian. Ghana must go. In Nigeria, they're making you look like a Ghanaian.
I can do.
There's nothing on eggshell around there. You are too extremely careful.
Yeah.
So it's like
what belongs to you.
Your life is in a cage.
Your real you can't come out. The real you can't.
You cannot express yourself. So automatically you know that this thing is
you're
not
in trouble.
Let's talk about economic abuse. A lot of men do it more. They say
And again, I want to say no, because I see them more than you.
women do it more too. Okay. Where his spouse says, okay, this is my money. I'm not going to give you money for this. I'm not going to. I will hold on to my money.
That's
And sexual. Let's talk about sexual abuse.
Hey,
Where they use sex to. We're talking both. We're talking both. We'll squeeze it in.
Okay.
Where okay, maybe let her handle financial abuse, then you handle the sexual abuse, where one of the spouse, it could be the woman, you can't touch me at this time. You can't touch me at this time. Or the man rapes the woman, even in marriage, rapes the wife, make her feel make her have low self-worth with sex. Yeah. Let me start with the woman. Quickly.
1 minute.
Financial abuse, yeah.
We always counsel that you should be transparent with your finances.
Okay.
And once, sincerely, as you grow and your money begins to come in, each person somehow have a way of covering things up. But let there be transparency. And peradventure, there is no transparency for a particular time. When you have the time and you see that things are easy and it's okay, please talk about it. You'll keep your money, you will die.
Women keep their money more. I don't know why.
Where did you get it?
I see. Because in this part of the world, maybe because of our culture. Maybe because of the African culture, where you see man
being responsible for everything.
They have to show that. That's where men die faster. They have to show that responsibility, and then the woman buys clothes, buy all these things with her clothes, and then the man has to bring his own money.
Okay, I'll because you said buy clothes. But once the woman buys the clothes, let her buy to balance her husband's.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's like a solution, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, that's the solution.
Not that she does it.
Yes,
yeah.
and then for some time, my husband will say this. Sometimes when he's counseling people, oh, my wife will look at me sometimes and say, your shirts are not good. She'll go ahead and buy about
for
6
you.
at
Yeah.
a time. I do that.
Yeah, that's good.
And I wouldn't do for myself. Just for you to know that it's not as if here I'm selfish. I want to hold on
to your
all
money
that I have. If I buy shoes, I buy for him. That is if I have. If I don't have, I even prefer him first. Marriage is not what you want to hold and grip your money. It is the language of love, or the language of marriage is our. But many people
is giving.
No,
But both people.
it's not.
I'm saying, but if that's what we are saying, the same thing.
Okay.
The language of love is giving on both sides. Yeah.
We. Not
that one person keeps giving, continues to give.
So you balance it. You balance it. Once the husband sees that the wife is doing this, he should also look for another way. It's a game of love.
Yeah.
You have a project, or you are doing a surprise. You want to buy her whatever, and she doesn't know. By the time he comes and you have suffered them in the house, they don't eat, they don't have anything, and then you come back with a key to one SUV. She will just say, what kind of a man is this? What are we saying here? Is it SUV? I've saved up money for the children's whatever, and you now pick it up to go and buy something. For what? There should be an understanding. Money is not the root of evil, but the love. And every man is selfish, and we have to deal with selfishness.
In the home.
Okay,
let's talk sexual abuse.
That's a very dangerous topic.
Okay, so it's supposed to be a topic for another day.
You dare not.
It happens. A woman has told me her husband rapes her. Anytime they are fighting.
There are some things that.
Let's touch it briefly.
Let me just touch it
briefly.
The man can be sexually abused. The woman also can be sexually abused. Don't forget that I told you that the woman has a way of making everybody to feel that he's the one that is abused. But most of the times, the fact that there is communication problem will always create that one. An average man and an average woman, they are just not the same in the cycle of sex. Yeah, there is what they call menstrual cycle. Men don't have.
Yeah, men don't have.
So
men are good to go.
That tells you they are not as if they are as if they are God, but they are the same yesterday, today.
That's why I said they are good to go. They are good to go.
And tomorrow. So if the communication between the two of them is not friendly and transparent enough, tendencies are natural that they will keep on fighting there. He wants to have it regularly. This one say, hey, I was excited yesterday. That does not mean I am excited today. Who are you talking?
I'm not in the mood.
And I'm not in the mood. And sincerely,
As a man, you say, go and create the mood. Look for your mood. Find your mood.
and for him to say go and create the mood also tells us that he is not an understanding man.
Yes, sir.
So it's not only that he should understand, she also should understand.
Understand.
There are times, and I'm not ashamed to inform you here that my wife who said, I remain like a missionary to you today, even though I'm not feeling like, please ride on, baby.
Let's not say that on there. Let's not say that. That's ATV. I apologize for that. I apologize.
I've just said this.
I apologize for that. I didn't know he was going to say that.
We really have to go. Okay, so basically, I don't know if you can do this in 30 seconds. I need people to understand the need to stay together in marriage. I don't know if you can do that in 30 seconds.
The need, if we can keep one of us, must we kill ourselves?
No, Dimeji, no.
They need to make it work.
Yes.
Let me just make my 30 seconds. People that are married, make it work. If you are selfish, remember that you are raising offspring. And when you lead a dysfunctional family, of course the children see it. You don't need to ask them to see. They already see. The tendency is that tomorrow they will hate you.
Yeah.
Tomorrow they will know that you have not done well. And tomorrow you may reap the consequence of the fact that your children will also have terrible marriage.
Broken homes.
So please watch out. There is nobody that is innocent when you don't make your marriage work. You can't be innocent.
We are out to blame.
You will be blamed.
We're out to blame. Okay. Okay, thank you very much for coming. Okay, and Sukomi. Thank you very much for coming. The man must never be abused. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Debola and Akin Bitokun. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Next week, Friday, God willing, and the program will return. We're not continuing this topic. Hey. Moni Kologida is my name. Have a beautiful weekend.
My name is Nigel Honest. Thank you very much for listening.
Don't trust you anymore. Please, every time we go out, it's one thing or the other. You always find something to make an argument. Let me tell you, your ways are not pure. Oh, please spare me that.